Yeah. I don't know if that's exactly right. That's what
I think that opens up a lot of ideas and possibilities. Um, is there a show, somewhat relatively mainstream, so it would be known, that we could target where we could talk about projecting onto fog, possibly?
Well, that is an amazing trick, and it is cool when it works. And I've pulled it off a few times. So I'll use a show that's mainstream enough, Hamlet, right? So here comes the ghost, right? How do you make the ghosts appear? So you can use projections for that. And it's a matter of how you want that to look and how long does it have to be there, right? If you use a geyser or something that can generate a lot of fog that comes straight up, right? You can shoot into it. And since it's kind of confined to a space that is elongated, you can actually get a humid form and get some elements out of it. It works really well. But then you can also go use fog curtains, right, that come in and drop fog down. So they used to be really expensive, but you can make them yourself with computer fans and make them look pretty good, actually. It takes a little time, and you got to kind of work through the process of how am I going to deal with the water component that might maybe involve dry ice or whatnot. But they'll never be as big as you want them to be. They work great, but you can't just do it psych. It's just harder to do. But I love it when it does get worked out and pulled off really well. I think Disney does a great job with it, the way that they used in like Fantasmic and their newest show at Epcot, right? It's got a lot of water fog stuff that goes up and then they project into the water that's being sprayed. And that's just wonderful. But it doesn't have a practical application on stage. But as a projection designer, those are the things that we can do as well, right? So we need to think beyond the scope of a theater and look at the other things that are around us. And so learning to fire projections on elements are great. Trees, great. Not just a surface from a hard scenic element or psych. We can do all sorts of things with it, right? So that's what's fun about those elements. You got to play with it, though. It'll take you a lot longer than you think when you initially try it, right? But it does work. You just have to be willing to commit to the time.
Let's take that Hamlet ghost. Like, give me the practical, like, let's say I want to do that exact Hamlet ghost you're talking about. Talk me through, like, where's the projector placed? What's some of the equipment you were talking about? Like,
Right.
can you give me the ABCs of it?
Yeah. Okay, so you could use many different things. So in this case, I would say you're using a geyser, which is it's a fog unit that sometimes has LEDs that are around the nozzle, and it shoots straight up. You can set the distance, and you can put different forms of fluid in. So as you turn it off, it will dissipate pretty quickly. Or you can have it so it'll generate a heck of a lot of fog and it'll stay in the air for a while, right? But so if I was doing that, that's what I would do is I'd get a geyser unit that I could shoot up. Then, and whether it's an elation unit or whatnot, by what manufacturer, right? Then I would say, okay, is my front projector, if I have a projector on it, powerful enough because it's in the rear of house? Maybe not. Plus, maybe I need to try to give it some dimensionality. So what my choice would be maybe to try to shoot it with a couple projectors. So I would probably put a projector up in the air that I could come in at an angle and hit it. This is where lighting training comes in. So if I take a light from the rear of the house. Think rock and roll for a second. And it's pointed straight down. And I have a whole bunch of haze in the air. And you're looking at it from out in the house. Your surface area of what you're looking at the cone of light with the haze in the air, is smaller. But if I put an angle on it, then as I was drawing a line through that light, there's more surface area to be seen, right? So it will be up here, even though I didn't change any of the environment or light's level or anything, it will appear brighter because there's more surface area that's being seen that you're looking through because I've increased the surface area, right, of the light. So you could do the same thing with the projectors, try to come in at an angle and see if I can get the projector, because it's just a light, right? But we can put moving stuff in, which makes it cool. So I could do that. So I would try it maybe closer with a wide throw lens in at that point, rather than try to shoot it from the rear house. Plus, you're dealing with other problems too, right? What if we have haze in the air? Then you're going to see this beam of light that comes in. So if we can take that beam out of a rear shot from the end of the house and we bring it in from an electric, and then we add another lighting to it, then we could hide it within that, right? So my choice would be earlier, let's try to get it closer, and then it'll feel like it's part of the visual design rather than something I added later on that I'm bringing in with a really powerful projector from the rear of house, right? So I would do that. Then I would work with the actor, right? And costumes right away. We need this costume in time for us to take this video so we can get a video sequence with enough movement in it that we try to play this off so people can recognize that this is actually, the ghost of it. And father-in-law, whatever it is, right? And then you get that footage in place, take out the background, then start testing it and see if you can get that happening, not in place on the set, do it some other place, right? Get it in there, play with the angles of the projector, try to get it so you can look at it from out the house, and then you can start making those choices on exactly where the placement of the guys would have to be and the projector. Then you can kind of work that into the plot, talk to lighting, and put it all together. So I think that there's a lot of hoops to go through to get the effects, but it's totally workable, right? Now, are you going to get the same effect as you would with using Mylar and having a Michael Jackson concert, and Michael's gone, here he is on stage, like you're not going to get that. But what you are going to get is a cool effect that will be there for a moment and then be gone, which is what you need, right? And most people will be able to recognize the silhouette of that actor, because they've seen the actor before, right? And then some of their earlier scenes. So that would be pretty cool, right? So that's how I would approach it. Lots of hoops, but always test. Don't just assume it's going to happen, because that's where you're into problems, right? And you're banking on this moment. Well, if you can find a way to generate it faster earlier, then you go for it. But that's how I would approach it. Yeah, for sure.
That's great. That's a great place to stop.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. I was wondering